All right, let's keep things rolling here on the Elias Makos Show. Now, Quebec is in a historic housing crisis, and while the goal should be to build more homes, new data shows that isn't happening. Montreal had its worst June in 25 years for housing construction starts, down 71% year over year. In Toronto and Vancouver, those cities saw a 32 and 49% increase, respectively, compared to last year. What's happening here in the city of Montreal? Why are housing starts down in such a big way? Let's go to François Bernier from the Association of Construction and Housing Professionals of Quebec. François, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
What's happening, François? Why these numbers?
Well, it's not only a terrible month of June, it's a terrible year, and a terrible year for Montreal, and a terrible year for everybody. I guess what's happening is basically the interest rates have an effect in Quebec that is more important than in other jurisdictions. So we're stopping everywhere because of the interest rates.
So explain that part of things, right? So explain how the interest rates, and any homeowner knows, right? The Bank of Canada has been raising interest rates. Explain how interest rates harm builders, harm developers into them deciding to stop projects.
Well, first of all, their consumers, their buyers can no longer have a mortgage. That's one reality. It's a matter of capacity to pay, and the capacity to pay of homeowners in Quebec is lower than in other jurisdictions. But for builders, of course, you have to buy land and keep this land for a while. And the length of time it takes to bring units to the market is terrible in Quebec. It's very long. And so the carrying costs of any construction, land, and the building time and things will cost a fortune. So those two things together make it very improbable for a builder to say, well, I'm going to jump here. I'm going to risk all of this, and at the end of the day, maybe not have a buyer. So we have this perfect storm now.
So the interest rate situation, it's across the country, right? I mean, the Bank of Canada sets the interest rates. It's not higher in Quebec. It's the same as everywhere else, right? So why isn't it affecting Toronto and Vancouver in the same way?
I believe it's a capacity to pay thing. It's a matter of capacity to pay because salaries and wages and taxes are lower outside of Quebec, so your available income is better. And also there's a will, I guess. People are willing to make more sacrifices to buy homes outside of Quebec. Here, I think that most people will forfeit and will turn to the rental sector, which is unable to provide the units we need right now. So all of those things together make us in a bad situation.
We're with François Bernier from the Association of Construction and Housing Professionals of Quebec. We're talking about the statistics showing that new housing starts in Montreal. A terrible June, a terrible year so far when it comes to new housing. So, François, I want to get to political decisions here, and if that could be affecting things. I mean, you're saying it's interest rates and capacity to pay. Obviously, developers and builders want to make a profit. It's no secret that Montreal has tried some very strict rules and regulations for social housing and affordable housing if you want to build on the island of Montreal, in the city of Montreal, if you want to build condos. Do those added measures change what's happening between Montreal and other cities?
Those rules and regulations in Montreal are certainly not helping, but Montreal is not alone with this bad reflex of saying that we can charge and overcharge new building, and it won't matter. Taxes do have an importance, and at this point in time, the best thing we could do, all jurisdictions, is lower taxes and stop putting more taxes and fees on new housing. That would be a good thing, but the Montreal and local level are not alone in this. federal government with the GST could lower the GST on affordable housing. They do not consider that. The provincial government could do the same with the Quebec sales tax. They do not consider that. And they could really help make it more affordable. And I guess no jurisdictions, no level of government at this time is really taking seriously enough the situation to make these moves.
So I also hear the labor shortage, that there's a shortage of construction workers, right? I've seen some figures. We need 13,000 more construction workers every year in Quebec, right? So what about that end of things? Do we have enough bodies to build if we wanted to build?
Well, this argument is good when we're working at 60,000 units a year, but now we're running at 35,000 units a year in Quebec. So I guess the labor shortage issue is less important than before. And there are also, we hear that materials are going up and up, so governments are turning their heads away and saying, well, we can't do anything because of shortage of labor and material costs. And no, you can do something. You can do your part with lower taxes and regulations. And I guess we'll have this conversation very soon.
François, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
That's François Bernier from the Association of Construction and Housing Professionals of Quebec.